The announcement of Mateo Busquets Ferrer as the referee for the Real Madrid vs Valencia clash has already stirred intense debate across Spain.
A match of such magnitude, to be played at the Santiago Bernabeu, demands composure, authority, and consistency, qualities many doubt the young referee fully possesses.
His recent performances have been marked by uncertainty, questionable decisions, and uneven control of the game. Real Madrid arrives in full confidence after its victory in the Clásico, Valencia with nothing to lose and everything to prove. Between pressure, expectation, and controversy, Busquets Ferrer finds himself at the heart of one of the most scrutinized matches of the season.
The appointment of Mateo Busquets Ferrer to referee the Real Madrid vs Valencia match has sparked considerable discontent.
And for good reason. This referee, still viewed by many as young, inexperienced, and sometimes hesitant in his decisions, does not inspire full confidence among a large part of the Spanish public. The federation's choice raises several questions, as such a high-stakes match demands a referee capable of handling pressure, tension, and the controversies that inevitably surround Real Madrid.
Mateo Busquets Ferrer is not an unknown figure, but he already carries a controversial reputation. Several of his past matches have been marked by questionable decisions, inconsistently issued cards, and poorly managed VAR interventions. Some observers even argue that he lacks personality when officiating big games, that he tends to follow the pace rather than control it, something that can quickly lead to chaos in a high-pressure encounter like the one at the Bernabeu.
Where a more experienced referee like Sanchez Martinez or Gil Manzano would have asserted authority in the opening minutes, Busquets Ferrer often allows confusion to creep into his handling of fouls and physical contact. He tends to let play continue excessively, then punishes harshly and belatedly, a pattern that frustrates both players and coaches. This inconsistency makes his matches unpredictable, and often explosive. Among Real Madrid supporters, mistrust is palpable.
Many fear an overly strict, even unbalanced officiating performance, especially since the Bernabeu never forgets past mistakes. As for Valencia, the Che club could well take advantage of this uncertainty to influence the game and push the referee into making errors.
Mentally fragile referee profiles like his are often caught between the pressure from major clubs and the fear of being accused of favoritism.
And that's the paradox. Busquets Ferrer wants to prove himself among Spain's elite referees, but the federation is exposing him to a situation that may simply be too heavy for him to handle.
Refereeing this type of match, with Real Madrid riding a winning streak and a vengeful Valencia on the other side, requires leadership, psychology, and composure that not all referees have yet acquired. The risk is clear, that the match could spiral out of control not because of the football, but because of the officiating. One missed foul, one dubious penalty, or one poorly judged red card, and the controversy would explode immediately, reigniting the debate over the competence of certain referees in La Liga. Fans, already frustrated by recent scandals, won't hesitate to point fingers at the federation and its questionable decisions. In truth, this appointment looks more like a risky bet than a logical choice. Mateo Busquets Ferrer will need a flawless performance to silence the critics and prove that he deserves his place among the referees for major fixtures.
But against two teams as fiery as Real Madrid and Valencia, in a stadium as intense as the Bernabeu, the slightest mistake could permanently tarnish his image.
In modern football, referees are rarely remembered for the good calls, only for their errors.
And if Busquets Ferrer fails to assert himself with calm authority on Saturday night, this Real Madrid-Valencia clash could very well become the match that defines his career, to his detriment. The designation of Mateo Busquets Ferrer to officiate the Real Madrid-Valencia match is already generating heated debate in Spain.
On the eve of this highly anticipated encounter at the Santiago Bernabeu, many observers are questioning the Spanish Federation's decision to entrust such an intense fixture to a referee often criticized for his lack of control in big games.
Busquets Ferrer belongs to the new generation of referees that the Federation is trying to establish at the top level. However, several of his recent performances have raised doubts about his ability to manage moments of high tension.
While he is recognized for his diligence and desire to do things properly, he still suffers from a lack of authority and consistency, two essential qualities in a league as scrutinized as La Liga. On several occasions, he has been accused of losing control of matches due to inconsistency in his decisions. His hasty whistles, delayed warnings, and unclear communication with players have often fueled frustration on the pitch.
Some clubs also criticize him for lacking personality when dealing with big teams.
Yet refereeing Real Madrid at the Bernabeu requires more than a solid grasp of the rules. It demands character, composure, and the ability to withstand the pressure of a demanding crowd and a dominant squad. Real Madrid, buoyed by their victory over FC Barcelona in the recent Clásico, approach this game in a triumphant mood.
The team wants to cement its leadership and continue its momentum ahead of the Champions League trip to Anfield.
But in such contexts, even the smallest refereeing mistake can change everything. That is exactly what Madrid fans fear, that a questionable decision by Busquets Ferrer could disrupt the confidence and rhythm of a team on a roll. Valencia, on the other hand, has nothing to lose. The young, spirited Che side knows that putting pressure on the referee can be an effective strategy to unsettle their opponents. In a match likely to feature numerous and physical duels, the management of fouls will be crucial.
If Busquets Ferrer is too lenient, the game could turn nasty. If he is too strict, he might break the rhythm and draw criticism from both sides.
Even the presence of VAR does not guarantee calm. Busquets Ferrer has already been involved in controversies over its inconsistent or delayed use.
In a match of such magnitude, every video review will be scrutinized frame by frame, every decision dissected on social media and by the press.
Ultimately, the federation seems eager to test Busquets Ferrer in a high-profile match, to assess whether he can join the ranks of top referees.
But many believe the timing is far from ideal. Between a title-chasing Real Madrid and a combative Valencia, he will have no margin for error. He will need to be fair, balanced, firm but not excessive, and above all, consistent in his decisions. This match could well mark a turning point in his career. A solid, scandal-free performance could earn him credibility and a place among Spain's top officials.
But a clumsy or hesitant showing in such a high-profile fixture could instead reinforce doubts and distance him from future major appointments. Mateo Busquets Ferrer faces a monumental challenge, proving that he can command a Real Madrid match with authority and discernment.
In Spanish football, where refereeing remains a highly sensitive topic, he must show that he is not just another official, but a true director of the game, capable of maintaining balance between intensity, fairness, and respect for the sport.
This Real Madrid-Valencia clash will not only be a test for the players, it may, above all, be a decisive exam for the referee himself.
In the end, the appointment of Mateo Busquets Ferrer to oversee Real Madrid versus Valencia perfectly illustrates the complexity and pressure surrounding refereeing in La Liga.
This fixture will not merely be a confrontation between two historic clubs, it will also be a moment of truth for the referee, a real-world test that will shape how the public, the media, and the authorities perceive him in the weeks to come. The context leaves him no room for error. Real Madrid, riding high after their Clásico triumph, will seek to confirm the dominance.
Valencia, meanwhile, will come without fear, hoping to cause an upset and disrupt the Madrid machine.
Between these two opposing forces, Busquets Ferrer must find the right balance, to blow the whistle with discernment, enforce discipline without overstepping, and resist being overwhelmed by the Bernabeu's electric atmosphere.
Refereeing such a match is no trivial matter. Every whistle will have consequences, every card an interpretation, every VAR check a public debate. Modern football has placed referees at the center of attention, often against their will. In an environment where emotion prevails over reason, Busquets Ferrer must embody absolute neutrality, that rare calm and lucidity that separates good referees from great ones. Beyond technical skill and game management, the psychological dimension will be decisive. He must deal with protests, intimidating stares, gestures of frustration, and the roars of the crowd. All of it is part of the scenery, yet all of it can also destabilize. The true greatness of a referee lies not only in his decisions but in his ability to command respect without instilling fear, to communicate without being manipulated.
If Busquets Ferrer manages to deliver a fair and balanced performance, he could finally shed the fragile label that has followed him since his early days.
This match represents a rare opportunity to silence critics, earn football's respect, and take a decisive step forward in his career.
But conversely, a night marred by mistakes or controversial decisions could deepen skepticism and damage his credibility for good.
This Real Madrid-Valencia clash transcends a mere league fixture. It is a duel between two historic clubs, a test for Madrid's leadership, a chance for Valencia to make a statement, and a mirror held up to Spanish refereeing, often accused of inconsistency and favoritism.
In this theater of passion and tension, Mateo Busquets Ferrer will hold the most delicate role, that of the invisible man, the one who must enforce the law without stealing the spotlight. If he succeeds in doing so with composure and fairness, this match could mark a turning point in his career. But if he succumbs to the pressure, it will serve as a harsh reminder that in modern football, refereeing is not merely about rules, it is a test of character. Mateo Busquets Ferrer faces an immense challenge. His appointment to referee Real Madrid versus Valencia embodies the fragility and constant pressure that La Liga referees endure. Every decision will be scrutinized, every gesture interpreted. The Bernabeu offers neither respite nor forgiveness. He must assert his authority without excess, lead without fear, maintain composure against two teams ready for anything. A fair performance could mark a turning point in his career, a mistake could halt it for a long time. The stakes go beyond the match itself, touching the credibility of a man, the trust of the public, the image of an entire refereeing body. Mateo Busquets Ferrer steps into the arena,